to the state of black existence, all for the sake of keeping it a buck. You know, white people, they can fight each other like lions versus leopards, and they can still find a way to come together at the end of the day and play golf on the green. Men will meet under this white umbrella, and they swing iron between their legs like it's their love muscle. And their only objective is to knock a little white ball off the face of the earth, symbolically. They probably saw it as a smear campaign turned into a game, but now it's a sport. Thinking back, the only truth that I was ever taught in school was math. Everything else was white people's side of the story. This is why history is classified as his story. All the flavor that black people gave this country to help make it great is always erased. And it makes it look like we fell from the sky and we landed into slavery. And then we jumped up and marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge for the right to sit on the same toilet seat as white people. That's because in America, racism is a religion. Religion is a Ponzi scheme. And a good way to tell you're going through a bad neighborhood is when you see a lot of churches. There's usually 2 or 3 in one block. The block is always lopsided, and this is precarious in its foundation. You give money to the church, but it don't circulate. The pastor got a smile that's fake, and everybody in the community is crying broke, but the churches are the only institutions that's static and cake. But then again, there are levels to this shit. Think about it. When immigrants go to another country, they do it for a better way of life, right? But if that's the case, then you can't say the same thing about my forefathers. A better way of life was built off their back. In fact, they came to this country the way convicts go to court. Their hands and feet were fettered to the ground down in the bowels of a slave ship like cheap fish. Saltwater seasick and suffocate from the stench of their own excrement. Now wait a minute. Immigrants don't travel like this. Black folks being treated like hostages and getting smoked like sausages in a tight ship shipped across the earth for 2 purposes. That's to describe comfort and wealth for European nations. But even inside of a race, there's a race. Because the white people that come in last are described as trash and used as buffers to keep black people in their place. But on any given day, all they got to do is shave and bathe and put on a suit and tie, and they fit right back into the upper crust of society. And we spend so much time looking up to them because we spend so much time looking down on each other. But then again, there are levels to this shit. When I finish, it was Tricky Dick Richard Nixon that classified single black mothers as welfare queens. He championed this message to make it seem like all of America's economical problems were black folks' fault. But how so? And what I don't get is how school books always find a way to omit how black people was brought to this country against their will and used as free labor to fulfill white people's dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. The black family was property, and property later was changed to happiness. And of course, you would be happy